like uppity, and welcome to the podcast. I am, as always, your host Dane, recording from the Local Studies Centre of Aberdeenshire Library Services. Sir Arthur Conan Doyle is one of the most well-known and well-read authors in the English language. However, long before Doyle put pen to paper and introduced the world to that great consulting detective, Sherlock Holmes, Doyle served, albeit briefly, as a ship's surgeon on a whaling ship out of Peterhead. Born in 1859 in Edinburgh, Doyle would eventually study medicine at the University of Edinburgh from 1876 to 1881. In 1880, he was given the opportunity to sign on as a surgeon on the Greenland whaler Hope, captained by John Gray. The job was originally offered to one of Doyle's friends and fellow student, but he was not able to go. So he offered the job to Doyle instead. The pay was £2.10 a month, plus 3 shillings a ton in oil money. In those days, it was not necessary for a whaling ship to have a fully qualified surgeon aboard, and Doyle was in his 3rd year of study. Doyle quickly endeared himself to the crew as well. Upon unpacking his meager possessions with the help of the steward, Jack Lamb, he, Lamb, picked up 2 pairs of boxing gloves that Doyle had brought with him, and suggested that they have a bout. The match would appear to be unequal, as Lamb's reach was a few inches shorter than Doyle's, but he was determined to give it a go. So tenacious was Lamb that Doyle had to punch him out with no small degree of severity. After the sparring was over, Lamb said to his shipmate, "So help me, Colin, he's the best surgeon we've had. He's blackened my ee." Fortunately for Lamb, Doyle, after inflicting the wound, could treat it right away. It was not all safe sailing for Doyle, however. He managed to unintentionally fall off the ship's bulwark where he liked to sit. After he was rescued, the captain told him, "You might as well be out on the ice helping us as tumbling overboard when a swell makes the ship pitch." Taking the captain at his word, Doyle attempted to skin a seal on an ice floe some distance from the Hope. Stepping backwards, he fell into the water for the 2nd time. Doyle said of the incident, "The face of the ice was so even that I had no purchase by which to pull myself up, and my body was rapidly becoming numb in the freezing water. At last, however, I caught hold of a hind flipper of the dead seal. There was a kind of nightmare tug of war, the question being whether I should pull a seal off the ice or pull myself onto it. At last I got a knee over the edge and rolled onto the ice. My clothes were as hard as a suit of armor by the time I reached the ship, and I had to thaw my crackling garments before I could change them." Hence after, Doyle was christened, affectionately I would presume, the Great Northern Diver by the crew. By the end of the voyage, Doyle had so impressed Captain Gray with his willingness to lend a hand on deck that Gray offered Doyle a berth as a harpooner with double pay on his next voyage. Doyle declined the offer and returned to Edinburgh to finish his studies, and later on, of course, enter the literary world with his stories of Sherlock Holmes and other stories. That is all the time we have. Thank you so much for listening. If you like these podcasts, please remember to like and subscribe. And please join me next time. Bye for now.